Hi, if you clicked on this video, I'm gonna safely assume that you know the story of The Little Mermaid.
Wish I could be part of that world.
But have you seen The Little Mermaid 2?
My fingers are wrinkly and I really don't care if all of my curls have curled out of my hair.
I even still remember my mom working in Manhattan, and she waited in line at the Disney store to get me The Little Mermaid 2. And I have seen both of these movies so many times that I could probably rehearse most of the lines in the movie. And I can't lie, I have definitely had moments in my life where I have imagined myself as a mermaid. I've read books on mermaids and also have seen many other movies surrounded by the underwater kingdom similar to Atlantis.
Now, we've all heard of the legend of Atlantis. Pure fantasy. Well, that is where you'd be wrong. Atlantis exists. I'm sure of it this time.
Or like The Little Mermaid, Atlantica.
It's Atlantica. With mer people and everything.
But even if my subscribers think I am forever weird after sharing with you the humiliating fact that I have had dreams of being a mermaid, I can honestly say that I am not alone. Many girls have watched movies like The Little Mermaid and Aquamarine and fantasized a life under the sea.
Under the sea.
And through a parent's eyes, this may seem innocent, but it's not. And I am only 3 days of recognizing how dark and deep this rabbit hole goes. And I really believe that most of you guys are gonna be as blown away as I was, because the story of The Little Mermaid is closer to being nonfiction than many would like to believe. And before you call me crazy, let's dive in and let me show you what I found. The earliest known mermaid stories appear to originate in ancient Assyria around 1000 BCE. These stories often feature the goddess Goddess, who is depicted transforming into a mermaid after sorrowing over a mortal she loved. The storyline of a very loved and known movie, The Little Mermaid.
Daddy, I love him!
It is actually based on a fairy tale that was written in 1837 by an author, Hans Christian Andersen. And the movie The Little Mermaid contains a ton of links to Greek mythology. In the Disney movie, King Triton is the father of Ariel and her sisters. In Greek mythology, Triton was a sea god, a half-man, half-fish creature, and the herald of the sea god Poseidon. Poseidon is a powerful god in Greek mythology, renowned as the god of the sea. He is one of the 12 Olympians, ruling over the ocean and all its waters, and is known for his control over storms and the ability to cause earthquakes. Poseidon's primary symbol is the trident, a three-pronged spear which he wields to control the seas. And you probably also remember Disney including Poseidon in the movie Hercules.
Did I ever tell you about when I invented the marine mammal?
Yeah, Poseidon, about a zillion times.
Well, in The Little Mermaid, Poseidon is actually Ariel's grandfather, which Ariel's family tree would also connect her to Zeus, making Hercules her cousin. Okay, so we have established that The Little Mermaid is deeply rooted and connected to Greek mythology. And although it's been packaged to us in love stories, tapping into our emotions and our hearts, these were very real gods to many people. Most ancient Greek and Roman texts treated the gods as actual entities. They believed that these were real spirits. They believed in mermaids, better known as sirens. And guys, I think you'll be just as shocked as I was to find out how many people believe that these sea creatures actually make their way onto land, very similar to how Ariel does in The Little Mermaid.
There's so many type of things that goes on in these Caribbean countries that you have no idea. Like, they're talking about how people in their families have been abducted by mermaids. Some have returned with riches and look totally different. Some people in their family, they witness shapeshift into other creatures. Like, this stuff is crazy because, you know, you think you only see these things in movies, but they're very real.
People do not believe that there's a world under the water.
This marine kingdom has affected almost everyone, but people are ignorant. And what we want to do is to expose the enemy so that he has nowhere to hide anymore. Mami Water is worshipped in many countries, in many parts of the world. And Mami Water is known as the mother of all the mermaids that have ever existed. And how did this begin? It began in Genesis 6, when the sons of God mixed with the daughters of men. And actually, when they mixed, it was not just having an affair. They introduced them to witchcraft. They introduced them to sorcery. They introduced them to the mixing of herbs and mixing of breeds, mixing of all kinds of things. That's why you see, even in movies these days, they are trying to show us what happened in those days, because Jesus says that in the last days it will be as it was in the days of Noah. They're trying to show you an animal, half a human being, half a donkey, half a human being, half fish, half a human being, half a snake, because this is what the enemy is targeting. This is what the marine kingdom is about.
Somebody told me not to mention mermaids. He said,
Don't mention mermaids?
I saw a mermaid.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
In Seychelles, Africa.
You saw an actual mermaid?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a swimming person.
Really?
Yeah. They said, the guy who does the horseback riding, he says, yeah, it's maybe not a good idea to go around going, I saw a mermaid. And he goes, he's saying how long his family has been fishing in these waters. He says that he's heard some things. He says, I've heard some things like what you say. I've never seen what you say you saw, but it's not the first time
And I get that this might sound so unbelievable to some watching, or maybe most watching, and it kind of was for me at first, until I'm going to show you the rest of the stuff that I found in this video. But also this many people claiming the same thing. If this isn't true, it is a very weird and odd accusation. But a common theme with all of these stories that line up is that these little mermaids are not innocent, and they're not like Ariel, and they are evil. And that all this is very spiritual, like the believers in Greek mythology say that it is. And believers in Greek mythology also believe that mermaid songs were so irresistible that no one could withstand them. Again, the Little Mermaid. Her having an irresistible voice, that was the reason Prince Eric fell in love with her. Which, side note, this movie really just showcases how powerful music can be. As my subscribers know on this channel, the music that you listen to, the vibrations and the frequencies and the spells that are put into so many songs that you know and love, don't be like Prince Eric, okay? Be on guard. But her having this alluring, captivating, magical voice is really not that far off from this sirens in the ocean, mermaids in the ocean, underwater sea kingdom theory. And I don't know if you've ever come across these videos. I instantly remembered it studying for this video, that about a year ago, I was scrolling on TikTok, and there were so many videos about sirens and sailors catching their magical voices on camera. Take a listen.
Crazy day, he says. He's asking how many mermaids. I don't know where to put my head. They are truly amazed. And this is how mermaids lure men into the sea. Literally, this is how, because they are amazed. The guy is about to cry. They're saying, this is crazy. How many are there?
A fishing crew was in the middle of the sea. They hear this. On September 10th of 2021, a deep sea fisherman by the name Brian was out fishing near Buzzards Bay, so basically miles away from shore. And as the crew was getting ready to call it a night, just like any other day, suddenly from the dark open waters, someone begins to call out to them.
And we just out here. We're chilling. We're out here chilling. I hear it. I hear him. Where's he at? What the f is that noise, bro? What is that noise? That's crazy.
Very creepy. Is it real? We don't know, but today's video might make it seem a little bit more plausible. But I want to quickly point out that sirens are different than mermaids. In Greek mythology, sirens were half bird, half women hybrids who lured sailors to their deaths with enchanting songs. Mermaids, a later, mostly Northern European legend, are half fish, half-women beings, often depicted as beautiful and benevolent. While the siren's original depiction as a bird woman has faded in popular culture, the term siren is sometimes used interchangeably with mermaid, but nonetheless, both are still tying into the theory that there are spirits in the ocean. And guess what? It's not just the Greeks that believed that there were spirits in the ocean. In Africa, Eastern Europe, Ireland, Southeast Asia, Scotland, Western Europe, all these stories passed down of shape-shifting creatures living in the sea and transform into human on land. And again, as we just saw in the beginning of this video, there are people today claiming the same story, claiming that they see this going on today. And in both The Little Mermaid 1 and The Little Mermaid 2 movies made for kids, things get even more spiritual, but this one is right in plain sight. And it all comes back to witchcraft. As usual, seriously, after the series that we did on this channel, I am thoroughly convinced that witchcraft is literally the devil's version of the Christian church. Witchcraft is his church and his kingdom. And as usual in Disney movies, the use of witchcraft is very prevalent. As in The Little Mermaid 1 and The Little Mermaid 2, we are met with sea witches, Ursula and Morgana, who, fun fact, are actually Ariel's aunts, and I thought that was so crazy because I never knew that. These are Triton's sisters. But the use of witchcraft in these mermaid movies is really interesting to me because, as my subscribers on this channel definitely know, witchcraft is huge. It's probably one of the most popular activities that's going on in more people's homes than you realize. Seriously, I think you'd be shocked to find out how many of your neighbors have literal altars in their homes. And what I've come to find researching for this video and on this topic is that witches are very involved with these mermaid spirits. So you may not believe in these spirits in the ocean or mermaids in the ocean, but rest assured, there are many people and many witches that sure do. And not to mention, I don't know how many of you guys know the famous YouTube family, the Ace family, but the wife and mother of this family, Catherine, who really needs our prayers at this time, has been experimenting with the demonic drug ayahuasca behind the scenes for years and has recently come out with a book being very open about it. And after this journey of finding herself through this drug ayahuasca, she has discovered that she was a mermaid in her past life.
I'm living my
Your best life.
I'm living my past life.
Your past life.
I go, well, I'm a mermaid. And I go, I live here. In that life, Austin was actually my husband. So it wasn't physically him, but it was his spirit. Austin was my husband. He was a merman. And Elle, Alea, and Steele were also my children in that lifetime. My children's names are Steele, Elle, and Alea, which spell out the word sea, S-E-A. And again, that wasn't planned. That's just all in alignment. In that life, I had a trauma with the ocean. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to live in the ocean, but I had no choice because my father in that specific lifetime was a king of some sort. And so, and I know this might sound so crazy, you guys, like, I feel crazy saying it, but he was a king of some sort, and I had no choice but to live in the ocean because I was royalty in that life.
I do think it is very interesting that she took this very demonic and dark drug and suddenly believes that she has the spirit of a mermaid. Similarly, Joshua Bassett actually took this same drug, and it's the very reason that he ran to Jesus, because of what he saw. The idea of mermaids in the water, witches in the water, and spirits in the water actually could hold some truth. The thing about spirits and powers is that we cannot see them. And being a Christian for 5 years now, I've discovered that most of this walk is warring against the things that we cannot see. And one thing is for certain, they are here, they are on this earth. But the big question is, are they in the sea? I think you'd be surprised to press into how the Bible represents the sea, as it is often a symbol of evil and resistance to God. In Revelation 21:1, we even see that the new heaven and the new earth that God is creating for his chosen people does not include the sea. And we know there will be no more evil or chaos. So for it to be written that there will be no more sea is interesting, because we also see evil coming from the sea. In the book of Daniel, when he sees 4 beasts rising from the sea, we also see Leviathan in Isaiah 27:1, referencing the end of times. Leviathan is an evil, twisted reptile that is in the sea that the Lord will punish, with even further mention that God will destroy this sea serpent in Psalm 74:14. And the story of Legion and the pigs really just drives this home for me, you guys, where demonic spirits begged Jesus to send them into the pigs, and as soon as he did that, they ran into the water. Demons preferred the water, which could imply that certain demonic forces operate through the water. Revelation 13:1, again, we see a beast rising up out of the sea. But what's so cool about all of this and this demonic undersea kingdom is that Jesus reigns. We see that by him rebuking the storm on the water with Peter. Also him walking on water.
You can do whatever you command, and if you command the water to hold me, I will walk on it.
There are so many biblical connections to power being in the ocean. And with over 95% of our ocean still being unknown, it's not hard to believe that there may actually be a dark spiritual kingdom in the depths of the ocean, and that The Little Mermaid is just another demonic movie produced by demonic Disney to further the demonic agenda that so many are unaware is being inflicted on them as a viewer. God bless you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, and as always, I will see you guys in our next video. God bless you guys. Guys, what's up? Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see more videos to help you grow in your faith with Jesus, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell so you're notified the second we post a new video. And I will see you guys in the comments.